It's strange as hell to me that it was only less than 2 years ago that this whole idea of being an expat or going to another country, traveling, moving abroad was going to be something just like fun, cool, like let's split our time between the US and now all of a sudden it's become like more of this. There's an impetus for people. They're doing it out of a sense of panic, like, or they thought it would be a nice idea, but now it's something that they're feeling like they absolutely need to do in a short time frame. So that sucks because that's not fun. That kind of a time frame and those kind of feelings it's a very different picture. But yet here we are for a lot of people, and we don't know what's going to happen. That's the hardest part right now. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the US with this chaos. It's not looking good, but I think it's important, if you have these plans, if you've been thinking about doing this, it's time to like get the visa, make the plan, even if you consider it a plan B, have your go bag, or whatever the equivalent of the metaphor of the go bag is, just have a plan. If it's a rental, if it's a place that you're going to rent, like you want to commit to it, but really I think there should be some plan. I don't think you should be just like freewheeling in this, raw dogging into 2025, going everything's going to be fine. How bad can it get? Because I have a feeling that around 100 years ago that there were people who were doing the same thing and they were wrong. And I'm not saying that it's going to be the same way, because nobody can say that. But what I am saying is that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And I'm hearing a lot of rhyming right now. And in any case, you think about the risk. What's the downside risk? Right? That's all life's about, is risk and reward. So if you were to do something that's not committal, you're not, necessarily selling your house or making huge financial moves, but rather doing something where you can at least physically get out of the country on short notice, I think that's a good idea. Even if it was, and you could go to a neighboring country. It could be Canada, it could be Mexico. That's much simpler than coming to a place like where I am in the south of France. That's a bigger deal, right? It's doable, but geographically, time-wise, logistically, it's going to be harder. So you don't have to be like, oh, we need to get our, place in the French Riviera, or we need to buy our, Tuscan country home or whatever. It could just be like, we're going to go to Baja, Mexico and live in a yurt and then make our next decision from there. Because if it was to go down in a bad way, you just need to be one hop away, because then you're in safe territory to be able to make another hop. And you have to have a passport that's going to be good for the maximum amount of time. And I hear other people talking about this. Make sure your passport is not going to expire in the next year or two. Like, that's not enough time. Your number one restriction in your ability to travel, other than money, is going to be the passport and the expiration date on it, because you cannot travel with a passport that is imminently going to expire. So research it, Google it, search it on how. I'm not going to go into that right now, but make sure your passport is like as long as possible. Do whatever you need to do to get a passport that's renewed. And also know that there is the possibility, it is possible, very doable. My wife did it, getting a second passport that is like a 4-year expiration passport that is a full passport book. It's like a duplicate passport. You can get that under certain justifications. Like, for example, if you were going to be sending in your other passport and you were worried that you weren't going to get it back in time from a foreign government, like, for example, you were trying to get a visa from a government, you can request a second passport based on that reason, and they will give it to you. We did it in an afternoon, my wife and I, here in France. So you can definitely look into that as well. I can't remember all the restrictions on the second duplicate passport, but that's something you should look into as well. But do whatever you need to do to get maximum window on that, okay? Just so that you can at least have the peace of mind of like knowing if it goes the bad direction, if it continues to go what you feel is the bad direction, you've got options, because there's nothing worse than feeling like you don't have options, right? And if you have, I mean, for anybody, but if you have kids and stuff, man, as a parent, that's like you feel utterly irresponsible if you don't have your family provided for, and you don't have an out. So yeah, I would just make sure that you do those things and think about that now. Like, I know it's the last thing you want to do because you're like working and you're trying to take care of life as it is, and it's already hard enough. But yeah, I know it's a pain in the ass, but if you have these feelings, if any of what I'm saying resonates for you at all, that's what I would do to give myself some peace of mind. That's my best recommendation for you. You don't have to have the ultimate thing that you would do as the first step. You can take an intermediary step.